Paul Dodd from Carlisle. Paul Dodd was a member of the Border City firm. Paul Dodd, now some of you might know him, others may not. Paul was from Carlisle. Paul was well known on the terraces at Carlisle. Now, you may be thinking that teams in the lower leagues didn't have firms. Well, you'd be wrong. They might have not had the same numbers as maybe the Chelsea Headhunters or West Ham's Intercity firm, but teams in the lower leagues had firms. For instance, Lincoln had the LTE, the Lincoln Transit Elite. Hartlepool has the Blue Order. Swindon had a firm, as well as does Bristol. And Bradford had the Ointment. In fact, there is an argument that there was actually more firms in the lower leagues. Back to Paul Dodd. Paul wrote a book called England's Number One and was interviewed along with other members of the Border City firm, which you'll see in this video. Unfortunately, after football, Paul's life took a dark turn, which led to drug addiction and petty crime. And unfortunately, Paul died at a young age, which is a shame.
The total number of football-related arrests actually dropped last season, but the level of serious violent crime increased. In fact, compared to the previous year, it more than trebled. And more than half these arrests were made outside the grounds because today's hardcore thugs are well organised.
These boys are from the Border City firm, one of football's most notorious gangs. Paul Dodd, the man the tabloids call England's number one, has 13 convictions for football-related violence. At one stage he was banned from every ground in the UK. He's banned from Carlisle United for life.
The top lads in just about every firm in the country follow England away from home, and you see them regular. And if you play them in a domestic season, you should get numbers and you phone them up a couple of weeks before you start playing, blah, blah, blah. They give you the information, we'll be in this boozer at this time, stay away from that boozer, it's Cameron, blah, blah, blah. And you meet and you have it, like, it's easier, isn't it?
What does it mean you have it?
If we get it on.
It's all done away as much as possible from the gaze of the police, all organised, all pre-arranged venues, pre-arranged times. Can often be hours before, hours after, many miles away from the ground. I think any police officer would tell you that if he could get hold of a way of breaking into a football hooligan's mobile phone and getting his list of numbers, he could probably crack it overnight.
Rival fans had arranged for a showdown at 10, but Arsenal didn't turn up. MCs admitted today that they were concerned about the number of violent incidents, but they didn't feel grounds were unsafe places. But a top government insider told Channel 4 News off the record,
"There's a very strong desire to cover things up. There's a strong interest in saying things are just fine."
Really true. The pub was empty in seconds. Swanjack snapped a pool cue in half and carried the weighted end in club fashion. Several lads carried stools, others had the knives.
The number of books on sale glamorising soccer hooliganism is stoking the current violent trend. Some see this as a backlash against the sanitised nature of soccer in the grounds post the Taylor report.
You only have to look at the success of books which are written about hooliganism to realise that out there are a lot of young men in this country who find it interesting and exciting and maybe want to be part of it.
This was a buzz. This is what those 100+ lads there that day lived for. A pure adrenaline rush, the quickening of a heartbeat, war, game was on.
Usually it's just hardcore, about 30 of us there who were there at every game, like. Just a mob who follow the lads who like a drink and a bit frisk if there's out going on. Punch up with the other lad. It's a laugh. I bet the coppers are dreading England, Scotland or... I see me getting locked up against Scotland. They're the only team who can come close. I'd have thought Germany. It's just a bunch of lads, working class lads, having a drink and what you looking at kind of thing, isn't it?
Right.
Just having a doss, isn't it? To blow it out of all proportions, really.
Everybody is fighting, like in mobs.
Once you go to court, they make out as though it's us hairy animals smacking old women with flasks of tea, you know what I mean? Where that's not right at all. It's lads exactly the same as us, under another banner, if you like, another team. There's us, there's maybe another 9 or 10 clubs with like 10 lads everywhere, eh? And like, you get to know them kind of, eh? You go in a pub round the ground, you see like Lee and that from Oldham, or a few lads from Darlington or whatever who you've been away with before, eh? And like, you know that the good lads are not going to run and leave you and that, eh? So you just have a good laugh, hit the drink and then have a frisk. We've had Sunderland in the FA Cup a couple of times. We've managed to get a replay both times, and both legs of them have been fairly spot on, like. Enjoyed ourselves. You can't help but get a frisk at Blackpool, like, it's full of lads.
Lads.
We had to go with Chef Wednesday and Doncaster and some Blackpool lads, eh? It's alright, a few of the lads ended up playing court for a free hour, that, but didn't go down, did they?
No.
Bolton a few years ago, we got run across the car park, but the year before we'd done them all hour. Used to phone through and tell us where to meet them. Like Wigan, we had a good do. So the phones, we had it arranged. We met out the way in a pub just on the outskirts, and we had a good off there, like, random actually. It went off as soon as we got there, like, right through the town. There was big running battles there, windows going through and that. And we got close to Hampden Park, and there was a big park with a fence. We were going up past the park, and a load of jocks come running across. Hibs, I think, were. That was the rumour that they were Hibs. There was us, Sheffield United, Northampton, a couple of other teams. There was only about 50 of us, loads of them. They were jumping out of the fence and getting it, and then the coppers just swarmed. I mean, if you got picked out, you're unlucky. You got locked up there.
Did you get unlucky?
I was unlucky. Yeah. I was only 16 at the time.
Didn't run quick enough.
We couldn't run really. Well, I suppose you could, but we're Carlisle, aren't we? We don't run. Especially against the jocks.
Just going off everywhere.
The year after, Hampden 87, England, it used to be home and away then, eh? And we were going down to Wembley, and we had a big kick-off in a service station, because we're the most northern club going down the M6. It was full of tartan divvies, you know what I mean? Full of all the jocks. First survey we had, there was like 20 odd of us in a van, and just went off to fuck, like. We all got locked up. Well, there was 9 of us, I think, eventually, that went to jail, and there was over 20 years dished out, like. I got 2.5 years, I was only 17. That was a good frisk. There was no police on out, like. I done 2 years out of it, you know, just for fucking about inside. Didn't get parole. I lost 3 months. Should have done 20 months. I done 23.5. No, that was a good day.
Against Sunderland.
Some of them are really bad.
Last season when we were walking down Warwick Road, like towards the
charge right into you.
There was 2 coppers walking behind us, kicking our feet and that, so we turned around and said something to them so they could lock us up. So like we had to go around the back streets.
Season, when we were doing well, we had a few lads going away and that, and the police were always one step ahead of us. We didn't have a clue it was. When we went to Wembley for that cup, we went to Southend for the night, and we kept it to ourselves kind of thing. As soon as we pulled into Southend off the motorway, there was 2 mounties waiting, and the place was full of coppers. All stressed out. There's a local cop around here, he's on the football intelligence craft, and he's a total
wanker.
Once it goes off, he's right in going off his head. He's like Thug off that programme. What was that programme? Police programme? Thug, he was like Thug, wasn't he? Right. Double of him, stressed out nuts. Like you walk down the street, maybe a few of you going out of the game or whatever, and he'll wade in and just pick on someone and arrest them for now. Start going off his head and checking them about. It's pure clown. We were in a pub called The Crown, and Wigan had got into the town centre without getting sussed by the police. They were in a pub called Mary's Chambers. There was a police van full of coppers outside Mary's Chambers and one outside The Crown. So we thought, we knew they were there and they knew we were there, so we're like on leashes kind of thing, but we knew the police. All of a sudden the police disappeared. You know what I mean? So thickies, we all marched up, come on, it went off. But in the back of my mind I was thinking, they knew we were there, they knew what had happened. There has to be a camera on it, like, and I was expecting my door coming in 2 weeks later, but no, it happened. I couldn't believe it. You know, they had us both pinned, they knew where we were, then they disappeared.
And I thought,
stitch up, you know what I mean? But now it comes.
Nearly every town in Britain has its own version of Paul Dodd. 25, unemployed, father of a small baby living with his fiancée in a small council house, and hero worshipped by his followers in the Border City firm, following Carlisle United. On a bad day they can raise 30, on a good day 150. 27 of the firm are currently banned from football grounds, but still they live for when Saturday comes. Or they surface for Euro 96.
Most of us are bad anyhow. I've got a ban at the moment, banned from all football grounds in the country till August. So you can't go in anyhow, but you still go away and just sit in the town and have a drink, and if there's anyone there, it goes off, doesn't it? Most of our lads are banned. We wouldn't have got... I'm banned, but I wouldn't have got a ticket anyhow. There'll be like gold dust going there. Just go down wherever we're playing, sit in the boozes. Just go for a drink and that, I think that's what the majority of the lads will be doing.